Lips.
I know, right? I mean, I have to say, Karen Dupiche, our wonderful makeup artist, when the earthquake was happening, she put her coat on and she was like, Jesus is coming.
I'm out.
I'm out. I'm leaving. We've got a solar eclipse. We've got the earthquake. She ran down the hallway.
Their brains are small. But who's the dumbest one of all? True, none of them are in Mensa, but who's the most densa? Perhaps it's Sunny who mastered the art of making idiots look smart. Now The View could ask a mirror who's the dumbest one of all, but there's no way that glass...
In a moment that can only be described as a complete dismantling, Greg Gutfeld delivered a sharp, unrelenting critique that left no room for rebuttal. This time, his target was Sunny Hostin, and he systematically tore apart her argument with surgical precision and biting sarcasm. The exchange was so lopsided that the audience sat in stunned silence, while behind the scenes, panic set in almost instantly. Matters spiraled when one of the hosts, without verifying her facts, accidentally revealed sensitive information live, on air, an unforced error that sent ABC executives into immediate crisis mode. What followed was a whirlwind of damage control meetings, internal chaos, and a frantic push to contain the fallout. Gutfeld didn't just win the debate, he exposed the vulnerability of a media narrative propped up by shaky facts and unchecked assertions. The segment wasn't merely uncomfortable, it triggered a full-blown PR crisis, the ripple effects of which reached far beyond the studio walls.
Lips.
I know, right? I mean, I have to say, Karen Dupiche, our wonderful makeup artist, when the earthquake was happening, she put her coat on and she was like, Jesus is coming.
I'm out.
I'm out. I'm leaving. We've got a solar eclipse. We've got the earthquake. She ran down the hallway. The rapture is here. The rapture's here. And then also I learned that the cicadas are coming.
Cicadas.
Although for the first time in like 100 years, for the first time in many, many years.
No, every 17 years this happens.
Well, that's not what I read, but maybe, you know better. All those things together would maybe lead one to believe that, either climate change exists or something is returning.
Earthquakes are not at the mercy of climate change. It's underground.
It happens, and the eclipse, they've known about the eclipse coming because eclipses happen, and they actually can say when these things...
One of the panel's usual talking points, historical grievances and identity politics, took center stage. As expected, Sunny Hostin leaned into familiar territory, invoking America's past wrongs and emphasizing systemic racism. She called for accountability, even extending blame across generations, while making broad generalizations about privilege. But what began as a predictable discussion took an unexpected turn. Rather than allowing the usual narrative to go unchallenged, a shift occurred. Counterpoints were raised that disrupted the flow, forcing both the panel and the audience to reconsider not only the arguments being made, but the assumptions behind them. The conversation evolved, becoming more nuanced, with deeper insights surfacing about how history is interpreted and how identity politics can distort present-day discourse. This wasn't just another panel segment on race. It became a moment of genuine introspection, prompting a broader reflection on how we navigate the complexities of the past while engaging with the present.
That's not what I read. The true sign of the apocalypse is someone that dumb has a law degree. Worse, if your name has the word sun in it, there's no excuse for not knowing how an eclipse works. But it's no surprise that Joy is the one who understands science. She's been on the science diet for years. They're turning on me. So that makes Sunny Hostin, who thinks climate change caused the solar eclipse, the dumbest of them all. Because everyone knows the moon caused the eclipse, which is controlled by the View's gravitational pull. All right, Kat, did you ever see such a group? It's amazing how Joy and Whoopi became the smart ones.
Oh, so you know what? Whoopi, she thought like either the Nazis thought the Jews were a race or were in a race. I'm not sure what she thought. And I thought, this new one was Sunny, pretty dumb. And then Joey Behar in her own echo chamber. I'm going to say the dumbest people who still watch the show.
Yes.
The whole audience clapped by the
studio audience.
Whoopi, though.
She's funny, right?
No.
Oh, okay. I was trying to find some kind of redeeming thing to say about The View. You could see right through me.
Well, at least Joy and Whoopi were fact-checking this time around. That was surprising, a pleasant one.
Yeah, it was. We won't be seeing that.
With a smirk and unwavering delivery, he leaned in and dropped what would become the defining moment of the night. He pointed out that recent findings had revealed Sunny Hostin's own ancestral ties to slavery, a revelation that landed like a thunderclap in the studio. The audience collectively gasped, and even Joy Behar, typically one of Sunny's staunchest allies, shifted uneasily in her seat, visibly rattled by the unexpected turn. Sunny, known for speaking freely and rarely verifying her claims in real time, was suddenly confronted with a contradiction she couldn't sidestep. The tension in the room was immediate and intense. What had started as a standard panel discussion quickly transformed into something far more charged, a moment that exposed the vulnerability of relying on moral certainty without full accountability. It wasn't just a sharp exchange, it was a jarring reminder that unexamined narratives can backfire, compelling even the loudest voices to confront uncomfortable truths.
Hostin's obsession with race gets thrown back in her face. Today's video comes to us from Sunny Hostin. Sounds like a town. We're in Sunny Hostin. She was on PBS's Finding Your Roots, a show dedicated to researching celebrity ancestry. For context, Sunny is a staunch supporter of reparations and has made a fortune spewing nonsense about white privilege and racial justice. Well, turns out she's not as oppressed as she claims she is. She's actually the descendant of slave owners from Europe. Here's how she took the news. Roll it.
Wow. I'm a little bit in shock. I just always thought of myself as Puerto Rican, half Puerto Rican. I didn't think I was, my family was originally from Spain and slaveholders.
Yeah. So how are you feeling, my friend?
I think it's actually pretty interesting that my husband and I have shared roots.
Yeah.
So I do appreciate that. And I think it's great for our children to know this information. I guess it's a fact of life that this is how some people made their living, on the backs of others.
As expected, Sunny was caught off guard and tried to downplay the revelation, dismissing it as just an unfortunate reality of life. But neither Gutfeld nor the interviewer was willing to let it slide. They pressed her, refusing to accept a deflection, and made it clear this wasn't a moment to sweep under the rug. The tension in the room mounted as the conversation turned from light debate to direct confrontation. Sunny's usual composure began to crack, and the shift in atmosphere was palpable. What started as a casual exchange quickly became a pointed reckoning. Gutfeld called out the glaring contradiction at the heart of her position. A platform built on holding others accountable for ancestral wrongs, yet an unwillingness to confront her own. The irony was unmistakable. As she struggled to respond, the audience sensed the discomfort. This time, the finger she so often pointed at others was aimed squarely back at her. It wasn't just an awkward moment. It was a revealing one, exposing the fragility of a narrative built on selective accountability.